Hello everyone. So in this video, I will show you how to write plugin on the qualify lead message in the Dynamics. So when you qualify any lead, it will get the message in the Dynamics called the qualify lead. If you have any plugin register on that message, so that piece of code or the plugin logic will be executed. So I will be writing the plugin on that message and also the demo of that. So we know when we qualify any lead, the three entities record, account, contact, and opportunity will be created. So when you register the plugin on the qualify lead, the controls will go there and it will have the enable of the create the account, contact, and opportunity. We can control whether we want to create the account, contact, or opportunity record or not. So my scenario for this video is that whenever any lead is created and before it's get qualified, I will check, like suppose this lead is created in the Dynamics, I will check before this lead get qualified. I'll check the what is the source of this lead is, what is the lead source. If the lead source is something any of this, like if the lead source is coming from web, then I don't want to create the account. Okay, even though if it has the value of the account given here, company given here, I don't want to create the account for this lead when it is qualified. To achieve this, we have to write the plugin for the qualify message. So when it is qualified, when we qualify that, then all the components, whether we want to create this lead and all, it will go to the qualify message, and we are going to write the plugin on that message itself. So we can control that whether I want to create those account, contact, or opportunity or not. So I will be writing that plugin with this is very simple. Now I think you have understood this scenario. So we will not create the account when our lead source is as web. Okay, we'll see that plugin. So let's proceed to the our code here. Plugin. This is the plugin solution which we have developed in the previous video, and in the last video we have written the plugin to qualify the lead automatically. Okay, so for that we have developed the plugin base class here. So I will be using this base class to write the qualify lead plugin. Okay, so this base class is using the local plugin execution, which is having the properties of the organization services, mandatory properties, and this is initialized using the constructor. And in the execute method, we are initializing that using the service provider as a parameter, and we are having the execute plugin logic function as a virtual function here, which we will be overriding into our plugin class, actual plugin class. In that we will be overriding that one, and when we override, we will be writing the logic of the plugin, what we want to achieve here. So this structure is very simple to use. Okay, so I'm going to add the new plugin here. So inside the plugin folder, I will add the new class. I'll name this lead qualify plugin. Okay, and this class has to be public, and then we will not implement the iPlugin. We will use the plugin base inheritance. So it's not coming because it has to be present in the different namespace. So using plugin base. So inside my plugin base, because this is present in the plugin base folder, so I have to use this namespace, and then this is coming here. Okay, apart from that, I want to modify a little bit about this plugin here, this plugin base here, this file here. So what I want to do is I will use some trace logs, and I will be using this trace message function here for my lead qualify plugin. Okay, so for that, suppose when I want to trace the name of the plugin which is executed, so for that I'll do a little modification. So what I'll do, I'll take here one properties here for this class, that is internal string, and that will be the plugin class name, and we will set the properties get set. And to set the value of this property, so I will be using the constructor of this. So for that I will use the public plugin base, and here we'll have the constructor, and inside the constructor we will take the type, which type of plugin we have to initialize the name with. So it will be the derived, or we can say the plugin name, and we will set this dot plugin class name equals to plugin name dot to string. Okay, so it will set the name of the class to this variable, and later on we can write the message. So when we go to the execute method, we can write this some trace log like that. So it is local plugin contact execution dot trace message here, and the message I want is string dot format, and that is culture info dot invariant culture, and this will have the, we'll write the message here. So it is entered in, and we'll have the plugin name dot execute method here. Okay, simple. So what we are telling to the test log is that we have entered the execute method with the plugin name, so it is expecting the plugin name here. So the name is this dot, we are having the plugin class name. So it will take that a string here, and it will set to this variable here. So now it will be trace log will be initialized here. To finally, I will add the one finally block here, and it will have the local plugin execution dot trace message. It will have the string dot format, and here we'll write exit the class name, the plugin name dot execute method. When it is when it will exit the execute method, then it will have this one trace added here. So I have just little bit modification about the trace message I have added here. Along with that, if you want to write the test message, so what we can use is, when any plugin code is executing, then you can use the correlation ID, when like to track the which plugin is being executed for that at a time. So that to tag any plugin, we have the correlation ID and user who has initiated that. So those will be written inside the test message. So what I'll do here, I will uh, write that. So in the trace message, I'll modify this a little bit about this trace message here. So it is the correlation ID, relation ID. So before that, I will use the here string dot format. It will be culture info. Okay, and this is our message. So correlation ID, this one. Then we have the user ID, and then we have the message, and then finally the components for that. So we have the uh, this dot plugin context dot correlation ID from there. Then we have this dot plugin context dot user ID, and then finally message. Okay, so it's coming. So we have invariant culture. It's not formatted correctly here, so let me format that. Okay, so it's coming correctly, so it has formatted here. Okay, this one. So it is trace service dot trace, and it is format. Okay, so it's coming like string dot format culture info correlation ID. Okay, message showing the object that is culture independent variant. No culture information cannot be used like method. Okay, we cannot use. Okay, this is incorrect, so we have to use like this. So that was my mistake. So we can use the trace message like this. Okay, so it is corrected. So I have done the little modification. First of all, added the I have added the finally block here, which will indicate in the trace message that it has entered, it has exit the execute method. Okay, and inside the trace method here, I have modified the some components like the correlation ID, and the user who has initiated this, it can use that. Okay, so with that modification, so I will be using this plugin based to my plugin here. So you can see now it's giving me error because the constructor of this one is expecting the name of the class, derived class, and what type it is. So for that I will use the constructor here. So it is public lead qualify. Okay, and it is the base. We can take the type of, and it will be the lead qualify plugin type. So this is very simple constructor. So inside the constructor, if you want to use the secure or unsecure configurations for the plugin, then you can take those inputs here. So since in my logic I don't have that, so you will have the constructor implementation here. Okay, so now when our constructor is ready, now we will be writing our logic. So for that we have to override the virtual method here, which is here bottom. So we have to override that one. So inside this our plugin class, I will write protected override, and here it will give me all the override method which can be used inside my plugin qualify here. So this is my method from the base class, and I will be writing my logic here. So first of all I need is the components which will be coming from the local context. So this is initialized inside the base class, these components like service and then tracing service and all those things. So for that, let's check that if the local context uh, is equals to null, then throw the exception. So throw new invalid plugin execution exception. So it's not coming because I have not used the SDK namespace. So using Microsoft.xrm.sdk, using .sdk.query, using Microsoft, and using Microsoft, sorry, system.globalization. Okay, so I have included some namespace here. So now I I will use the invalid plugin execution because it will come from the SDK namespace. So it will be invalid. The message will come invalid local plugin execution object. Okay, when everything is right here inside the local context, local plugin execution, so we will write our logic here. So first of all we will check if the parameters are coming from that. So first of all get the, we'll initialize the components. So like I plugin components, so I plugin components we will initialize. Okay, so first of all I organization service, so I plugin education context first. So context, I'll name the variable context, that is equals to, we have the local context dot plugin context, then we have the I organization service, I'll name this CRM service, that will be local context plugin execution dot organization service. Okay, so once we have this, we'll check inside the context whether the plugin, which when we register, you can see in the previous video when we have qualified the lead inside this, we are in the lead qualify request, we are having the lead ID. So any lead which will go for the qualification, that object reference will be present into this variable. So we have to check the lead which we are going to qualify whether it contains this value or not, so inside the input parameter. So we'll check first that. So if the context dot input parameters dot contains the lead ID which to be qualified, and it should be of type of entity dependent. So you can see from my previous plugin video, here we have given the type as entity reference, so it should be type of entity reference. So it is context dot input parameters of property lead id is entity reference. Then we'll check the plugin whether it is registered for the lead qualify lead message or not. So context dot message name to lowercase. If it is equals is not equals to, we'll check if it is not equals to qualify lead, and we will register the lead qualify plugin on the pre-operation. So we have the context dot stage. If it is not equals to 20, which indicates it is pre-operation, so then we will return from the plugin. So when our plugin is not registered for the qualify lead message and the stage is not pre-operation, then return from this plugin. If everything is fine, then we'll get the reference ID from the lead which is registered on. So here we'll get the entity reference, that is lead reference, that equals to the context dot input. From the input parameters we'll get, and from the properties lead ID as here it will be as we have to cast that to entity reference. Okay, so now again, to get the value of the like what was the source of the lead which was qualified, we have to query through that, right? So for that I will be writing the simple retrieve here. So call the entity lead entity here, that will be crm service dot retrieve, and we know the id and the schema name, so we have the lead reference dot logical name and then lead reference dot id, and the column set we need is the schema name of the logical name of the lead source here. So the schema name of the lead source, we can go to the solution here, and inside the fields of the lead entity, this is the lead source field, and the schema name of this field is lead source. So we will get this value in the query. Okay, and we have to compare the value with equals to wave. So the value of this wave is 8. So when the option set value we will receive, if it is 8, then do not create the account. If it is other than 8, then create the account also. Okay, account, contact, and whatever we need. So we'll get this lead entity into this lead, and we'll compare if the lead entity is not equals to null and lead entity dot contains the parameter, this one lead source, then only we will check if the lead entity dot get attribute, and that will have the integer value, and that will be sorry, option set. So option set value, and from the field this one, if it is dot value, if it is equals to 8, means it is for qualify, then we have the context in the input parameter, we have to disable the creation of the context. So we have the context dot input parameters, and here inside the input parameters, in the previous video I have shown you in the lead request we are having the create account. So we will set this create account to false. So inside the plugin we'll set the create account to false. Okay, simple. So it will not create the account when our lead source is equals to web, that is means it is lead source is web. So very simple. Okay, so plugin is ready, and let me write this some here exception. So throw new invalid plugin execution exception ex dot message. Okay, so yeah, the plugin code was very simple. So we have to just check by retrieving the plugin, and we have to check the option set, like any condition where you want to create or not. So like for the contact, if you don't want to create, then you have to set this contact to false here. If you don't want to get the opportunity, then you have to set the create opportunity to false here. So likewise, you can control the creation of those three entity on the qualify message. So our plugin development is ready. So let me build this solution again, and I will register this plugin. Okay, this is an error because in the qualify lead plugin what we have developed, because here since we have modified the plugin base with the constructor here, so I need to modify this plugin also, which we have developed in the last video. So I will be writing one a small constructor here. So it is public plugin qualify operation base and type of the plugin. Okay, so this is simple. So as usual, this is the same code what we have written here inside the our lead qualify plugin. So let me rebuild this. Okay, so build succeed. So I'm going to register this. So I have logged into my plugin registration tool. So this is my assembly. I'm going to update that. So before this, I'll copy the name of this path. Okay, so my plugin is assembly is updated and one plugin is registered. So when I see my plugin here, what we have created now, so this is our plugin lead qualify plugin. So we have to register the step for that. So step, and the message will be the qualify lead. Okay, this one, and the primary entity will be the lead, secondary entity will be the none. Okay, so I don't think so we need here message, because it's not going to be registered on any entity, so we don't have need a primary entity, so it will be none here, because the a lead request will come and it will not have any target type, so we cannot have the primary entity here, so we can take this as a none here. Okay, for both primary and secondary. Okay, and then in the pre, it will be pre-operation and this will be synchronous, so we don't have a synchronous execution mode for that, it will be always synchronous one. Okay, so let me register this step. So the step is registered, and now let's check if it is working. So I have logged into here already CRM. So I'm going to create the new lead here. So CRM lead demo, and this will be lead wave. The source will be wave. So wave, uh, and then last name I'll take the test 2, and the company name. So since when any lead is qualified add a lead, then it will get the it will get the record with the company name as a account record, right? So I'll give this company name as uh, it is lead wave test 2. Okay, this is the company name. So we are it should not create any account with this name, right, when it is qualified, and when the source of this lead is equal to wave. So I have selected this source as wave, and the company name is this one, and the first name last name of this lead is lead wave test 2. Okay, so let me query this. So we are having some error, execution unexpected. So we are okay, so we are having that error because there's some mistake in the code. So here in the plugin base, when we are going to the finally block, you can see it is expecting the exit one parameter here, but we have not passed the value for that. So we can pass the exit the class name. So here it will be this dot child class name, or that this will be child class plugin name, plugin class name to a string. So that was missing, because of that it was failed. So I will, what I'll do, I will rebuild the plugin, and I will register the plugin again. So build is succeeded. So I'll go to the plugin registration tool, and here I will update this again. It has been updated. Okay. Okay, so I'll go to the my lead here. I will create the new lead again, and we'll see. So it is CRM demo lead. The first name will be the lead wave, and here the last name will be the test 3. Okay, and the company name, this time I will not give the company name. Sorry, I will not, I will give the company name, but it has not to be created when it is qualified, right? And the qualification will happen automatically because there is a plugin which we have registered in the previous video on the create of the lead. So I'll give the company name lead wave. It is test 3. Okay, and I'm going to save this. So now you can see it has been qualified, that plugin. Okay, and it's converted into read only. And also now we'll see the whether account or contact or opportunity has been created or not. So since we have not set the source of this lead to any type, so it's not having source as a wave. But now in this case the lead has to be created with this account. The lead should have created this account with this name, right? Because we don't have source as wave here, so I forgot to add. So should have created as per the logic what we have written. So I'll go to the advanced find, and this is the account. Let me check if it has created. Yeah, you can see the lead wave test 3 is created, and the same for the contacts and the opportunity would have created. So this is working fine. Okay, so the opportunity is also created. So let me create the another lead with the source as wave. Source as wave. Okay, and the topic name CRM lead test. First name on the lead wave, and the last name test 4, and the company name I'll give lead wave test 4. So this time when our logic for the auto qualify plugin here, when it will execute, it will find the lead source as 8, which is nothing but the wave, and then it will disable to create the account here, right? So now I'm going to save this. Okay, now lead is qualified. Now I'll go and see the account advanced find here. So now we'll see. Okay, you can see it's not created here, but when we see the contact, you can see that test 4 contact is created, and the opportunity for the test 4 is also created. Sorry, this is the opportunity for the test 4 is also created here. Okay, you can see here. Okay, so but the account is not created because we have disabled to create the account for the wave. So this is how you can write the plugin on the qualify lead message, and I hope now you have understood about the qualification of the lead in Dynamics and how to write the plugins on that. And I hope you like this video, and thank you for watching this video, guys.